Every possessions, things and whatnot which we have gathered, if they are real, why everything disappears in the deep sleep? What happens to the mind in deep sleep? It is a deep sleep is nothing but almost like a death state. Why deep sleep has not been taken to cognizance? Why one has not taken note of it? Why one has not probed into it? Why the mind disappears in deep sleep with whatever things that one has accumulated throughout the waking state? How and why, with all its content, the mind disappears with the world? When what is the reality which rules everything of this cosmos, including the individual? Is it not a pertinent question? Tell me, Vivek.
Actually, I had a question related to this. So, in the waking state, as you said, that whatever we are feeling, thinking, perceiving, and doing, if they are not real, because they don't exist when we are actually in the deep sleep state. If that is the case, then the question that I had is who we are, and how can we know who we are?
Again, one is left with only waking state to know about this. And the whole waking state also disappears. What about this knowledge? Suppose you come to know what you are. So, that knowing your true reality or true nature, is it inclusive of knowing the deep sleep state also? Whatever the understanding or the realization you arrive at, is it inclusive of everything? Inclusive of all the three states? See, for the moment we will do one thing. We will keep the dream state aside. We will simply take the whole of the waking state. In the waking state only one can probe about all these things, right?
Yes.
Fundamentally, because actually what is this probe about? You probe about who I am or who we are, isn't it? So the moment when I have to probe, when I have to look out who the very self is, who this psychological entity together with its physical body as well as the world surrounded with it. If this is the probe, it is inclusive of everything, isn't it? It is all inclusiveness. Am I right? The probe, the moment one turns within and tries to probe oneself, what does he actually probe? He probes everything in toto, the whole of the cosmos, including one's mind as a separate entity that arises from deep sleep, identifying with that body as its center of functioning. Am I right? Do you follow this?
Yes, I do.
So, it is a very serious affair or a question. One has to immediately inquire into this, without which actually there can never be a clarity which is offered during the waking state pursuing other activities. Because we are caught up in all sorts of activities throughout the waking state. Fundamentally, one has taken oneself as real. That is the premise. That is the foundation on which the whole of the cosmos, through an individual angle, works. Everyone, the moment one wakes up, what does he think? He has a business or one or the other pursuit throughout the waking state to keep him fully occupied.
There is absolutely no doubt in his mind as to why he should do all this.
All these
because
things.
he thinks he is a credible person.
He has taken himself. Absolutely, without doubt, one has taken himself as this physical organism with the blood constantly in circulation and the breath going in and coming out. And how do these things happen? One never questions. Who is born? How can one take one's physical organism as oneself? This never arises in oneself at all. This question never arises in oneself at all. So there is an urgency. Before stepping into the worldly activities, before stepping into any of the pursuits of one's individual entity, you should first of all question, authentically see for himself, who is he in the first place? Seriously, it should be doubted. Not compromising with any answers that are given from outside agencies at all, be it books or through the things which he has heard. He should not compromise. You should not seek answers from them. So, one is left with the waking state and first fundamental quest, the fundamental probe, the scrutiny, the examination is upon one's own true identity. Am I this body? That is how it starts, because at the outset one is the physical organism. The word only is everyone we are familiar with. The mind is a word.
Once that quest begins, he becomes eligible to be called as an adhikari. From then on, the investigation begins in him.
And can it...
I have a question here.
Yeah.
Why at all one should begin this quest? Now, what is the kind of life that he or she would lead if he totally believes in what he actually does and in terms of psychology? Now, what is the kind of life if he believes in that?
See, at any moment of the waking state, one is constantly struggling. That is obvious fact. To put his mind in order or to keep himself, to lead his life. Just to take an example of a small school going boy. What is his way of life? What is he expected of? He has a bull routine. Just think of a 4th standard schoolboy. What is he expected of? He wakes up in the morning. He is already fully conditioned about his homework that was given the previous day. And there were subjects that were being taught to him. There are things expected out of those subjects which were taught to him. In the school, the next day, and there are a lot of commitments or responsibilities which he has to face. Even a child. And what about a grown-up old man? He must be already having a family around him, and with whom he is connected. He identifies himself as a particular role to different family members and to the society, and they are all nothing but the clutches that are given to him in his mind. He himself has taken it seriously, and at any point in time for an individual, he is constantly under challenge. His roles are being challenged. Just like the school going boy, you should not forget all the books or the answer, the homework that are being done, those notebooks and everything that should be put intact, and you should have his food and everything. The whole of the family in an orchestrated way, they should arise, they should wake up early morning, and accordingly each and every activity has to get on. And what happens at the exact time for leaving the school, exactly he should get into the bus or anything, the way of transport, and reaches the school. And at any point in time, any of the individual is constantly under different challenges. Various challenges are there for one intellect, for one individual's intellect to respond. How people face this? Is it not a constant struggle? Do you get this? Do you understand this?
Yes.
Wherever one is placed throughout the globe, on one side, one is pulled by desires, the chatter, the gossip, the playfulness of a child with other students, other of his friends in the school before the class commences. The moment teacher enters the room, all the boys, they go silent. So everything is a conditioned reaction. Every conditioned things is nothing but a challenge for every one of us. Is it not true? Any conditioned behavior. See, we are alive, thinking beings. What is a human being? He is not only blood, flesh, bones. He is not only made up of this. He also has a mind which meets every moment of his existence, devises different ways to face those moments. Constantly it is being challenged, and it faces a challenge. It has to respond. So basically, not only for these human beings, think of the animal kingdom. Think of the animals. See, look at a dog. Is it not a challenge? Its existence is constantly under challenge. Every moment is a challenge, is it not? Even a protected dog, as a pet animal, it belongs to a particular family. It is there in a particular family as a role, as a being, as an animal being. It lives there. Is it not undergoing that same struggle? Only thing between a human being and that is, a human being, be it a boy or an old man, they know they are constantly challenged They are constantly thrown up with lot of demands, expectations by the society and the relationships around him. And also an animal. Animal doesn't know, but it responds bodily, moment to moment. Its life is nothing but the expression of the bodily movements and bodily instincts. So we will keep aside the animals. Just let us take the example of a school-going boy as well as an old man, and in between them, the vast humanity is living out on different pursuits, isn't it? What are those pursuits? So constantly the mind or the intellect is expected to meet the challenges, arrive at some decisions, prove, get, know, become, be better on the progressive path. So any activity actually arises for a center. The center wants to become, the center wants to get, the center wants to know, the center wants to improve. This continuous becoming process throughout the waking state in any direction, be it financial, physical, social, on the knowledge front, be it any direction, or in fame, or in the expression of art, be it anything, or in the expression of finding out some scientific research, finding out new things. What are these pursuits? On what centers are these pursuits being followed, tried by an individual? So they are nothing but I or I am, I have done the homework, I have not done the homework, I will have to somehow convince my teacher for not having done the homework. So all these plannings that have to go in a school-going boy also to meet that particular challenge. Every moment is challenge. So constant planning is needed. Constant escape mechanism should be in work, should put under work. And when at some point in time, if a separate mind, if an individual comes to know about this, what is this going on? Why am I like this? What is this? Who is this living through this body and mind? What he wants? Why am I constantly struggling and to meet all the challenges, planning for anything and everything? Every waking state I am full of nothing but this only constant struggles and the arranging it and modifying it, manipulating it, somehow within that to arrive at some happiness or to avoid some unhappiness. This is the constant mechanism that has been going on in every one of us, isn't it? Are they not teachers? Are these activities, will they not teach one? Is it not a torture for anyone? Do you understand this, Vivek?
Yes.
Yeah. Will this not lead one to completely jump out of this, the whole cycle? Fortunately, there is a state as a fallback is available to every one of us. That is a deep sleep state. At least 1/3 of the 24 hours lifespan, everyone is endowed with this. It's a fallback. And that is also constantly threatened. If one goes in excess throughout the waking state, what happens? One loses sleep also. One cannot sleep easily. And by and by, all this identification and the constant struggles, what happens? What happens to one's mind? It is never put to rest at all. It never even gets sleep. So this is the kind of waking state that is going on in the whole of the humanity, right from a child to a person who is awaiting his natural physical death, an old man. This is what is the whole of the life. This is what is a waking state. In this whole process, in only one day of 24 hours lifespan, one state totally, one is without conflict, not even to experience or not to experience, there is none available to experience it. Isn't it? That is a bare fact, apparent fact. How can one
He
lose?
is totally at ease and total rejuvenation of cells. He
Yes.
gains energy. It's a complete restful state.
Complete rejuvenation. Every